By Lord Mandelson, the Business Secretary, close ally, of course, of the Prime Minister's. Lord Mandelson, we get you to stand slightly this way, if we would. Thank you very much for joining us here on BBC News. This is not the reshuffle that Gordon Brown wanted, is it? Neither the timing nor the personnel.
I don't know what foundation you have for saying that. He's been saying for days, as you know, and others have been saying on his behalf, that he's going to restructure his government around the policy priorities. This is about policy. This is about embedding the legacy that we have in public service investment and reform and taking forward that agenda in schools and education and health and crime.
But when you restructure a government, forgive me, you normally change the key personnel, and you're not changing the key personnel.
Let me finish making the point. You know, when you see the new government, Nick, and when you see how he's restructured it around priorities, you will also see, in addition to what he's doing in domestic policy, he's reinforcing his commitment to getting this country out of the global recession that we're suffering from and putting in place the conditions for our future economic success, the prosperity and jobs that we're going to help create in the future. And you will see structures and personalities matching that as well. You'll also see a lot of political and constitutional reform. We've got to clear up the mess in British politics and the crisis that is gripping all the political parties, and you will see that going forward as a priority as well.
You've used a very interesting and revealing phrase, new government, old faces. You stay in your job. The Chancellor stays in his job.
Nick, you can't have it both
Let me
ways.
finish the question if you would. The Foreign Secretary stays in his job. The Prime Minister, I didn't even know you were coming, so I haven't, but there we are. Let me just go through it again. Prime Minister, Chancellor, Foreign Secretary, Business Secretary, key advisor of the Prime Minister, same people, same faces, no change.
Nick,
I ask you the question, how new?
You can't have it both ways. You can't have gone through these last few days and today as well, talking about all these people who are leaving the government and then telling us that they're the same faces. Some good people have stepped down, that's true, but very many more good people are going to come into the government, as you'll see both today and in the coming days.
And Lord Sugar is hired, not fired.
Well, Lord Sugar he's just one heck of a man, and you'll see him pioneering enterprise and backing small and medium-sized enterprises around the country. That's what we need. If we're going to succeed economically in this country, we're going to have that sort of success, and Alan Sugar's going to help us achieve it.
Very grateful for your time. Thank you very much indeed. Peter Mandelson there. Back to you.
OK, Nick, thank you very much for that. Well, I'll be back shortly. Now let's get full analysis of those results from the local elections in England, which are still, of course, coming in. We can join David Dimbleby. David.
Thanks, good afternoon and welcome to the BBC's election studio. We'll be here all afternoon monitoring the counts. Over 2,000 councillors, 34 councils. Important, of course, for local government and for the people who live under those governments, but more important perhaps for the government as a whole and those Labour backbenchers as an indicator of what people feel about this Brown government and the changes that we've seen today. What else is going to happen after that? We'll be speculating on some of that with Nick Robinson and others. But first, let's just have a look at the councils we've had in so far. Not many. They'll come in later, and we'll get the projected national share, the key thing, later on. So we've got Conservatives on 3 and Lib Dems on 1, just 4. And the change we have is the Lib Dems up 1 and 1 fewer hung councils. And the councillors. Now, 250 or so is a kind of target that has been set for the Tories. They may say it's an unfair to gain. At the moment, this is the number they've got. We've got, remember, 2,000 to go. So those are the figures at present, 131, 52, 20 and 10. And this is the change so far. 18, up 1 for the Liberal Democrats, down 23 for Labour. Early days, doesn't tell us that much. So we'll have more of that later on, and we'll, as I say, have this key thing about